So come and sit in an easy cross-legged seat. You can always sit on a block. Today is the last day of this week, which was hip week. So today we'll still be working on the hips. You can sit on a block or on a blanket, really grounding your sitting bones nicely down towards the floor. And then maybe before you close your eyes, you just wiggle a little bit left, right, front, back, just making sure that you really feel the weight evenly divided over the sitting bones. And then closing your eyes. And as we close the eyes, we shut down the world around us. So yeah, we shut down the external environment and we bring the awareness completely inside the body. Opening up that internal vision. Start to take a moment here to connect to your body, to yourself, to your breath. The idea is to shift the focus from thinking to feeling, really getting out of the mind and coming into the body. Let's just take a moment here to feel the alignment of the body. Now we've already grounded down the sitting bones. Now feel that from the sitting bones, the spine is rising up towards the ceiling. And the crown of the head rising up towards the sky, the ceiling, making the spine nice and long, not hanging in your lower back, but keeping that natural curve there. The shoulders are back and down, and if you feel that you need to bring the shoulders up to the ears and then roll them back down to really feel that relaxation in the shoulders, you can do that. Relaxing arms, hands onto the knees or the thighs. Let the face be soft. No clenching of the jaws, tongue relaxed in the mouth. And also as you close the eyes, as you have them closed, don't squeeze the eyes, but have the weave of the eyes where the eyelids come together, have it soft. No frowning, a soft, gentle face. The shapes that we make with our face, they create chemicals in the body. And the moment we clench the jaws or we bring a lot of engagement into the face, that has an effect on the body. So keeping the face just relaxed and soft will keep that sort of same energy in the body as well. And then just bringing the awareness back down towards the hips. What do you notice there? Can the hips be open and free and soft? Can the knees come down to the floor in your easy cross-legged seat? Maybe you can release, let go a little bit more on your next exhale, dropping the knees down a little bit more towards the floor. And then bringing the awareness a little bit back up into the torso, bringing the awareness to the heart space, the lung space. Start to feel the breaths as they come and go like a wave on the shore, ebbing and flowing. Really connecting to the breath and finding a rhythm of breathing that suits your body this moment. It can be a breath that is a bit deeper than how you normally breathe in your daily life. Also not making it too deep. When you breathe really deeply, you use quite a bit of engagement in the muscles. It's hard to sort of stay with that breath an hour long. So find a rhythm that feels good. A little bit deepening of the breath, not too much, but a rhythm that you can keep throughout the practice today. Really feeling all the movements created by the breath in the body. And seeing whether you can feel that breath also to the side ribs and the back of the rib cage. The air almost pressing into the shoulder blades as you breathe in. So making that breath three-dimensional. Breathing into all the directions from the rib cage. Take another few breaths here. And set an intention for yourself to stay with the breath throughout the practice. To stay aware of the body and the sensations that you're feeling. Just staying present. One more deep breath in and out here. And on the next in-breath, as you keep your eyes closed, circle the arms up, letting the hand palms meet above the head. Exhaling, bringing the thumbs to the heart, to the sternum. Press your sternum into the thumbs, opening a bit more in the chest like that. And then if you'd like, you can set an intention here, another intention, maybe just for yourself, or a dedication to something or someone. And then bringing the thumbs up to the third eye in the middle of the forehead, sealing your intention here. And then the thumbs back to the heart. You can blink your eyes open, keeping your gaze soft. And then as you inhale again, circle arms up. And then as you exhale, rotate towards the right side, twisting. I am mirroring you here. Placing the left hand on the outside of the right leg and the right hand can be behind you. Keep length along the spine. Just a gentle twist, warming up the spine here. And then on your next in-breath, arms come up, come back to the middle. And really work on your own breath. Doesn't matter if you move a bit slower or faster. exhaling, coming to the twist to the opposite side. Try to keep the spine long, so you're really rotating around the axis of the spine. You can look over the shoulder, in this case the left shoulder, if it feels okay for the neck. And then next inhale, breath back to the middle, arms come up. And then on the exhale, place your hands down to the floor. Keep the sitting bones rooted. If you're sitting on a block, I suggest you better come off it. And then start to walk your hands forward, but keep the hands and the arms active. You don't have to let the head come down to the floor. Actually, just keep that whole spine sort of active and start to pull on the spine. So pressing into the floor with the fingers and pulling onto the shoulder blades, pulling them back onto the rib cage so that you feel the stretch along the whole spine, not just the shoulders or the arms. Another deep breath in here, out, and then walking the hands back in. And then we're gonna bring ourselves into a butterfly pose, but maybe if your legs feel that they need a little wiggle or a shake after sitting in that easy cross-legged seat for a bit of time, you can shake out the legs for a moment. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself into a butterfly. So the soles of the feet come together and have the heels close into the groin. The more the heels come into the groin, the more you feel it in the groin itself, the adductors. Hold on to the feet. And then you can start to flap your wings, just a little bit of active stretching. So just the knees bouncing up and down. You can do that fast or slow, whatever feels good for you. And then just release the knees down. And then make your way forward. And here we want to keep the spine straight. So where in yin yoga we round the spine, here we want to keep length along the spine. So don't collapse here. We're not rounding, but really like keeping the chest open, sternum forward, and keep the activity in the legs as well. So not a passive stretch, but really press the knees down. And pressing the knees down, you do that with your muscles, and you can engage even a bit more in the glutes here. You might feel that the knees come a bit more closer to the floor. Another deep breath in and out. And then slowly coming back up, bringing the knees back up. And then we're going to come to the long side of the mat, or at least do that if you have a hard floor like me, because we're going to bring ourselves into a straddle pose where we have the legs wide, and it's nice to keep the heels on the floor. So I have a little blanket under my buttocks, and also that blanket helps to tilt a little bit in the pelvis. So what we want to do is we want to tilt the pelvis so that we sit a little bit more towards the front of the sitting bones. Now we want active legs here. So you press the kneecaps down towards the floor, the back of the knees down towards the floor, and flexing the feet. Also here, keep a nice long spine, and then start to walk your hands forward. See how far you come. Maybe you just have your hands on the floor. Maybe you have your forearms on the floor. And just listen to your body. You don't have to go too deep. Just feeling a nice stretch on the inside of the legs, the groin. Stay with the breath. Stay with the sensations in the body. And then on your next inhale, slowly coming back. And then just bringing the legs back together. And I'll stay seated like this. You can come to the long side of your mat if you want. Have the feet about the distance of the mat. So they're fairly wide. And then just drop the knees to one side and then to the other. So windshield wipers. And the more the feet are wider, the more you work into the hips. I really like to press my knee down to the floor, especially that knee that's internally rotating. It feels so good. There's a nice extra stretch there in the hip. Coming back to the middle. And then we'll take figure 4, seated. So starting with the right leg, you're going to bring the right ankle on the thigh, just below the knee. And then you can choose, you can notice for yourself, is this enough stretch for you, or do you need to walk your hands in closer and the buttocks maybe closer to the heel, the left heel. So see, you want to find a nice stretch in the outer glute, the outer hip. That's on the right side. And then if you came really close in with the chest towards the leg, you might just want to walk the hands a little bit back, giving yourself a bit more space to change sides. So we'll do the same thing, but now the left ankle on the right knee. If you need more stretch, then you can just walk the buttocks closer to the heel, press into the hands, keep the chest nice and open. And also here, making sure that you flex the foot. So we keep the leg, in this case the left leg, active, and also in that way you protect the knee. Taking another breath cycle here. And then after that breath cycle, again, giving yourself a bit of space, unwrapping legs, and making your way into a tabletop position. In your tabletop, press the hands firmly down into the floor, making sure there's space in between your fingers, already creating the hands, the shape of the hands for your downward facing dog. And then you can pivot or rotate the biceps forward so that you're really opening the shoulders here. And then let's just take a few rounds of cat-cow, a bit more warm up for the spine. Inhaling, opening chest forward, tailbone up. And exhale, rounding. So on your own breath, every time you inhale, chest open. As you exhale, round. And as you're doing this movement and you feel that that's not doing enough for you, you want to change the movement, just do something that feels good for the body, then just go ahead. And maybe you prefer to take more circular movements with the hips, the spine, the rib cage. If you're taking circular movements, maybe it feels nice to swap sides so that you're also circling into the opposite direction. Giving yourself another breath cycle here. And then after that breath cycle, neutral spine. And then really again, keep pressing those fingers into the mat. The fingers are spread wide. Just warming up a little bit the wrist here. On the next inhale, you're gonna lift the wrists and the hand palm off the floor, but the fingers stay down. As you exhale, the hands come down again. So inhaling, lifting up wrists and hand palm, fingers stay down. And on the exhale, just lower down again. Moving on your own breath. Every time you inhale, wrist up and exhale, lower down. Now, the more you lean over the wrist, the more weight there is over the wrist. So it's more intense. When you lean more towards the back, it's much lighter to lift up the wrist and the hand palms. Choosing your variation, few more rounds. Let's do one more. And then bringing the right hand with the fingers towards you, lowering the wrist, the hand palm and the wrist down to the floor. Nice stretch. And then if you want, you can do the left hand at the same time, or just take a few breaths with one hand and then you swap sides to the other hand. Now, if you're in this pose with both hands, fingers towards you, and you need more stretch, you can lean a little bit more towards the back. That will give you a bit more stretch. It's always good to warm up the wrists and give them a bit of a stretch before we start to really lean onto them, which we do quite a lot in these vinyasa style practices. So bringing the fingers back to the front now. And then I always like to just give the wrist a little shake. I do that while I'm in my tabletop, just one hand at a time. And then when you're ready, spreading fingers wide again. And remember that position of the hands is so good, pressing into the fingers to release pressure of the wrists as you come into, for example, your downward facing dog. So tucking your toes under, take a deep breath in here, and then as you exhale, press yourself into your downward facing dog. Now, as you come into your down dog, straight away feel where the body is tight. This could be the back of the legs, the back of the legs, or along the spine, maybe around the hips. It can also be the shoulders. So just noticing for a moment, where do you feel tightness and tension? And also checking in, do you still have your fingers spread wide, pressing into all 10 fingers, finding the correct alignment for your feet, noticing whether they need to be a bit closer together or wider apart. See what feels best for you. And then start to move here. You can move in any way that feels nice to create some release maybe of any tension that you feel. Walking your dog, for example, alternating heels up and down can be very nice for the back of the legs. When you bend both knees a lot, you can press the hips up probably more, meaning that you create more length along the spine. You could also lift up one leg and then open the hip. You bend into the knee. Take one more breath cycle here. And after that breath cycle, finding stillness again. And then on the next exhale, bend into the knees, look in between your hands and step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhaling to halfway lift. And exhale to fold. And then inhale, circle the arms, coming all the way up to standing. And then on the exhale, interlace the fingers behind your back. And then step wider so that the feet are about hips distance apart. And then inhale, open the chest, the heart up towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, bend into the knees. And you can bend really deeply into the knees and then start to bring the arms overhead. So the torso can be really leaning onto the thighs. And once you're in your position and the arms are pulled overhead, opening in the shoulders. You can start to press a little bit into the feet and straighten out the legs if that feels okay. Deep breaths in and out here. Nice. Next inhale breath, slowly making your way back up, pressing into the feet and bending a little bit into the knees if you have them straight again. Releasing the arms and just close your eyes for a moment here. Breathe. And then stepping the feet together. I like to have my big toes touch and my heels slightly separated, because then the outside of the feet are parallel, but see what works for you. Pull your navel in and up. So you really create like a corset around that lower part of the torso. Taking a deep breath in and out. And then we'll go for a few sun salutations, just warming up the body. Inhaling, circling arms up. And on the exhale, folding forward. Inhaling to halfway lift. And then on the exhale, step back into a plank and straight away lower yourself down. You can use the knees onto the floor and keeping the elbows close into the body as you lower down. Untucking the toes, pressing the fronts of the feet into the mat. Inhale for cobra, or if you prefer, upward facing dog. And exhale into your downward facing dog. And so slowly build it up, maybe with the sun salutations, taking it, building it up at each round, or straight away going to more deeper variations if that suits your body. Know that you can always be in a child's pose if you need to take a break. So another deep breath in and out in your downward facing dog. And then on your next exhale, bend into the knees. Look in between your hands and step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, folding. Engage in the core. Circle the arms up. Inhaling here. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, circle the arms. Exhale, folding forward into your Uttanasana. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, step into your plank, lower yourself, Chaturanga. Maybe this time you don't use the knees, but listen to your body. Inhaling, peeling off your chest for cobra, or maybe coming into upward facing dog where the knees and the pelvis are off the floor. And so see what works for you. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Staying with the breath and knowing that the breath guides you, nourishes you. Taking another deep breath in. And on the exhale, bending into the knees, look in between your hands, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, circle arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Round 3, circling arms up, inhaling. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, half Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, stepping back, Chaturanga, lower yourself down. Now you can lower all the way down, or maybe you hover above the floor if you're coming into your upward facing dog. And that way you build up more strength Exhale, downward facing dog. But again, listen to your body. No need to take the more deeper variations if it doesn't suit you. Deep breath in and out. And then on the next inhale, lifting up the right leg. And then on the exhale, bend into the knee and open the hip. Try to keep that right armpit and shoulder down towards the floor. But try at the same time to lift that right knee even higher. On the next inhale breath, extend the leg. And then on the exhale, step the foot to the outside of the right hand. So a big step forward, coming into your lizard pose. Keep the chest nice and open. Stay on the hands. Pressing sternum forward. And don't collapse. And also let the head stay up so that you don't hang in the neck. Deep inhale. And exhale. And then inhaling, pressing to the hands, three-legged dog. And on the exhale, step the foot down towards the floor. Next inhale breath, left leg comes up. Exhaling, bend into the knee, open the hip. Try to keep the left armpit, shoulder down to the floor. Lift up the left knee a little higher. Inhaling, extending the leg. And on the exhale, step the foot to the outside of the left hand. Lizard on the other side. And let those hips come down low, but you want still a strong back leg. Keep the chest open towards the front of the mat. Deep hip flexor stretch. Breathe. And then on your next inhale, back into your three-legged dog. On the exhale, step the foot down, downward facing dog. Inhale, coming forward, high push-up plank. Building a bit of strength here, hold. Pull the navel in, back of the heart up towards the sky. So you're rounding slightly in that upper back. Deep inhale breath here. And out. You can always have knees on the floor, remember. Next inhale, deep breath in. And then on the exhale, slowly lowering down chaturanga. Let's take about 3 counts here, as if you're moving through mud and knees can be on the floor. 3, 2, and 1. Either coming into cobra or upward facing dog. Deep inhale breath, opening heart. And on the exhale, downward facing dog. Press into all 10 fingers, releasing pressure from the wrists. Deep inhale. And exhale here. Deep inhale breath. And on the exhale, bend into the knees, look in between your hands, and then step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, circle the arms. And exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, circle the arms and come into your chair pose. Now you want to see your toes here. If you don't see your toes, then lean into your heels. Just a little bit more. Deep breath in. And then exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And on the exhale, hands to the floor, stepping back into your plank and lowering yourself, chaturanga. Slow movements. Inhaling for cobra, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, breath brings the right leg up. And on the exhale, step the foot in between your hands. I'll just show it from the other side. You're gonna bring your back foot in a 90-degree angle. Inhale, come up, warrior two. So the hips are open here. Arms straight out to the sides. Inhale, breath, reversing your warrior. Keep pressing that right knee forward and that right arm overhead. Deep inhale, breath here. And then on the exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Make your way back into your down dog or take a vinyasa where you lower yourself chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra, upward facing dog. And exhale into your downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out. We'll do the other side, inhaling, left leg up. And on the exhale, step the foot in between your hands. Back foot, 90 degree. Inhale, come up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana B. By pressing into the outer edge of that back foot. And keep the front knee sort of in line with your second toe. No pressure on the knee. On your next inhale breath, open the heart here. As you bring yourself into that reversed warrior. Nice side body stretch. Deep inhale breath. And then on the exhale, cartwheel the hands back into your down dog or plank and taking a vinyasa. We meet in downward facing dog on the exhale. Deep breaths in and out, stay with the breath. And then on your next exhalation, bend into the knees, look in between your hands and step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, engage in the core, circle the arms. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. And then we'll start with the right leg. I'll mirror you here. So the left leg is going to be your standing leg. Really ground that leg down. I like to pick up my toes and create stability for that foot, really grounding down. And then you're going to pick up your right leg, sorry. And then you can either take it onto the shin. You can also have the big toe on the floor, or maybe you can bring it all the way up into the onto the upper thigh for tree pose. So keep pressing the foot and the leg together, engage in the core, pull the navel in and up, chest open, hands in front of the heart. Stay with the breath. Look at one point on the floor that's not moving. The more you keep pressing the leg and the foot into each other, the more stability you create for yourself. Engagement in the body. Maybe you want to lift up the arms, bring the hands overhead, maybe spreading the branches of the tree wider. You can always have that one foot, the big toe on the floor. You can also hold on to the wall if that's necessary for you. And then we'll slowly bring the hands back to the heart. And now try to keep your balance here, releasing that right knee forward, bending a little bit more into that standing leg, left leg, and then bring the ankle onto the thigh. So we're coming into like a standing pigeon. A sort of a figure four that we just did seated, but now we're standing. You can start to lean a little, bend a bit more into that knee and fold a bit more forward, hands in front of the heart. So balancing here, but also feeling that stretch in that outer hip. And on the right side, strong standing leg. Take another deep breath cycle. And then you're slowly coming back up. And then releasing the leg. And then you just shake it out for a moment. And then we'll do the other side. So right leg is your standing leg now. If you were standing on like a carpet and a mat, maybe that feels a bit too soft, so it becomes a bit unstable. And you can always step right onto the floor. It creates a bit more stability. Grounding down that right foot. And then the left leg comes up, and you can have it with the toe on the floor, below the knee, or above the knee. Just never have it pressing on the knee, just in case, for the sensitivity of the knee joint. Hands in front of the heart. Pull the navel in and up. Pull the pelvic floor muscles up. Look at one point on the floor that's not moving. If you find your stability, then maybe you want to bring the arms overhead. And maybe you want to open the hands like the branches of a tree. Trying to really stay focused. Your drishti, the gaze, really helps with that. When the eyes start to wander around, in general, it means that you're not so focused. And it's harder to keep your balance. So slowly, you can bring the hands back down to the heart again. Try to stay on that standing leg. Bend in that left knee and then bring the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Start to hinge a bit from the hips, squatting down a little bit. You feel that stretch in the outer glute now, and flex the foot, always protecting the knee here. So the left foot is flexed. This is hard work for the standing leg. So another deep breath cycle here. And then slowly, slowly, you can come back up and release. Shake it out. Really strengthening for the ankles as well. Coming back to the front of the mat. And we'll just leave the legs and the hips for a little bit. Next, breath in, coming into your chair. A deep breath in. And then on the exhale, slowly, slowly, see if you can sit yourself down into your sitting bones. Maybe you need to use your hands. Maybe you can gracefully sit down without using the hands, and then bringing yourself into your boat pose. So your boat pose can be with the knees bent. You can hold onto the thighs. Arms can be also next to the legs, or maybe you want to straighten out the legs. When you straighten out the legs, press the toe mounts together. Pressing the feet together helps for more strength. Try to stay relaxed in the shoulders, engaging in the core. Deep breath in and out. And I say we give the hips a little break, but actually the hip flexor here is actually working really hard. So not really true. Deep breath in. And then on the exhale, you're going to lower yourself down to a low boat. Sacrum is on the floor, lower back on the floor, but the legs and the shoulders off the floor. You can hold onto the thighs if you need to. Arms can still be forward. Breathe here for 3, 2, and 1. And then we come back to that boat pose. One more time, one more round. Strong legs, strong core. For 3, 2, and 1. And then placing the feet back down. And now see, you might want to use your hands here, or maybe you can really start to shift forward, forward, forward. Bring the weight into the feet, and then you make your way back into your chair pose. A deep breath in, and on the exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, halfway lift. And then on the exhale, hands come down, step back into your plank and lower yourself, chaturanga. Inhaling for cobra, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. A deep inhale breath. And exhale. And then inhaling, lifting up the right leg. And on the exhale, step the foot in between your hands. Again, back foot, 90-degree angle. Circle the arms open into your warrior two. On the next inhale breath, reversing your warrior. And as you exhale, come back into your warrior two. Now you're going to straighten out the front leg and step the back foot in maybe a little bit. Inhale, reaching forward, we're coming into Trikonasana. So first we want to create that tilt in the pelvis, in the hips, and then the right hand comes down and the left arm comes up. And we try to keep length along the spine, and you can have a block or a book under the hand if that serves you. Remembering right buttocks towards left heel here, so we don't flare the hip out. And then on your next in-breath, really engaging into that core as you press into the feet and bring yourself back up. Then you're going to pivot the right foot in. And now you're in your Prasarita Padottanasana stance, wide-legged position. Have the feet, the toes slightly in and the heels slightly out. In general, that feels best for the knees, but some people might just prefer it with the toes outwards, so see what works for you. Interlacing fingers behind your back. Inhale, opening heart here. And then on the exhale, we hinge from the hips, coming forward, letting the crown of the head come towards the floor, and we let the arms hang overhead here. Now keep pressing into the outer edges of the feet, pressing or pulling the inner arches up, so the legs are really strong here. Deep breaths in and out. Now on your next in-breath, really engage in the core and in the legs and bring yourself back up. And exhaling, releasing the hands. Now I hope you have space in your room to do this towards the other side. I think most of you have it. Then you pivot now your left foot towards the back of the mat. And then you bend into the knee, and now you're back into your warrior two stance. Okay, if this is difficult for you to do in your space, then just swap legs for a moment so that you can still stay at facing the front of the mat. Next, in breath, reversing the warrior. This is nice way opening also in the heart, but also giving yourself that nice side stretch. Keep pressing left knee towards the back of the mat and the hand towards the front of the mat. And then next inhale breath, back into the warrior two. And then you're going to straighten into your front leg, stepping the back foot in a little bit. Next inhale breath, reaching forward, 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 really starting to tilt from the pelvis. That's the most important thing. We want that tilt here. When you cannot tilt any further, then the hand comes down. Left hand down, right arm up. You can always be on a block, or maybe even have the hand on a shin. Try not to lean down onto the hand. Try to sort of create more that uplifting feeling, almost as if you're trying to come back up almost. Length along the spine, It feels okay on the neck. And you can look all the way up at that top hand. And then on the next in-breath, engage in the legs. Bring yourself back up with the arms. Arms can come down and then you pivot the left foot in again. Maybe you need to step a little bit wider. Toes in, heels slightly out. Prasarita Padottanasana stance. Hands on the hips. Inhale, opening chest and heart up towards the sky. And on the exhale, folding forward from the hips. Hands can come down onto the floor wherever they can be for you. You can also have your hands on blocks, of course. But the more the hands come in between the feet, the more you can start to press into the hands. And by that pressing into the hands, you're almost sort of trying to press your hands forward. And that way you basically bring the crown of the head closer to the floor. Try to stay with length along the spine. Try not to round in the upper back. And then also keeping the weight even on the feet, not leaning too much forward, not leaning too much towards the back. So feel whether you need to change a little bit there. And then next inhale breath, halfway lift. On the exhale, hands on the hips. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Then pivoting the right foot back towards the front of the mat, bend into the knee, arms into that warrior two shape. Inhale, reversing the warrior, opening in the heart and the chest, side body, and exhale, cartwheel the hands down. And then you can choose either downward facing dog straight away or your last vinyasa of this practice coming forward. High push-up plank, exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhaling cobra, upward facing dog. And on the exhale, downward facing dog. I love down dog to stretch out the spine, so give yourself a nice stretch here. Really lengthening along the spine. And slowly bringing the knees down to the floor. And then make your way to come lie onto your back. As you come to lie onto your back, you can bring the knees into the chest and rock a little bit from side to side, giving the spine a little massage. And then keeping the knees together, about a 90-degree angle. Arms can come out to the side into a T or a cactus shape. Trying to keep both shoulders down to the floor. And then just drop the knees to one side. And stay with the breath, really breathing down towards the lower belly here. You can always look into the opposite direction of the knees, bringing that twist into the cervical spine as well. And then on the next in-breath, knees come back up to the middle. And then we'll take the same twist to the opposite side. So knees into that 90-degree angle and then dropping the knees towards the other side. Looking into the opposite direction, trying to keep both shoulders on the floor. I should have said on the other side as well, but if it's hard to keep the shoulders on the floor, you place a block or something under the knees. Again, deep breaths down towards that lower belly. And then bringing the knees back up to the middle on the next in-breath. And before we come into Savasana or final relaxation pose, you might just want to hug the knees and maybe bring the nose towards the knees so that you're really rounding into the spine. Or maybe for a breath or two, you want to take a happy baby, which is also nice for opening in the groin as well. And then after a few breath cycles here, prepare yourself for Shavasana, our final relaxation posture. And you can have the legs extended. And if you need something under the knees, maybe like a rolled up blanket or a bolster, then do so. It can release a little bit in the lower back if you have sensitivity there. If you're feeling cold, then bring also something over you or put socks on. Let the legs be slightly separated and the feet falling out to the side. We have the hand palms up towards the sky and the arms are just a little bit away from the body. When we have the hands open to the sky, it opens the shoulders, so that's nice. And if you feel that there's a bit of a restriction or tightness along the neck, you can also literally with your hands pick up your head and just pull a little bit on the head and then just place it back down again. And then taking one more deep breath in through the nose. Maybe you want to sigh it out through the mouth. Letting go of any tension, any engagement. Then you want to really release into relaxation. So no more controlling of the breath, no more engagement in the muscles. Also letting the mind be free. Just slowly, gently let yourself sink down into that quiet place within yourself. Now, if you prefer to stay longer in Shavasana, then please do so. You can even just stop the class and just stay for as long as you like. If you're ready to come back into your daily lives, then start to deepen your breaths again, and coming back into your body. Just nice deep breaths in and out. Feeling the connection between the back of the body and the floor. And gently starting to wake up the body by wiggling toes, wiggling fingers. You can also make some circles with wrists and ankles, if that feels nice. If you want to take some bigger movements, then stretch arms overhead, extending arms and legs away from each other, creating some length and energy into the body. And then rolling on to your favorite side. One more breath cycle there. And after that breath cycle, with the eyes still closed, press yourself back up into a seated pose, any comfortable seat that suits you. Just taking a moment to feel the body before we open the eyes again and come back into our daily lives, where we're tending to not focus so much on the body, not listen to the signals. So just with the eyes closed, one more moment, feeling the body. I hope that you feel the benefits of the practice. And bringing the hands in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. Remembering your intention here for a moment if you set one. And then bowing the head towards the heart. And as always at the end of my class, let's finish with a moment of gratitude. Just sending out your gratefulness to anything in specific that comes in mind. Anything in particular you're grateful for this moment in time. And gratefulness is such a strong emotion, and it can literally bring a smile into our faces when we think of something we're grateful for. And then blinking your eyes open and lifting up your head. Namaste.